Here, what's very obvious is the pineal gland, okay? The pineal gland is the chronic side. It's responsible for sleep and also hormone production, okay? Right here is the pituitary gland. It has heavy limb stagnation or congestion. When the pituitary glands are weak, you're going to have all the other glands weak, including the adrenals, the pineal, the parathyroid, thyroid, etc. Right here is the parathyroid, okay? Parathyroid is responsible for tissue integrity and calcium utilization. Now, when your body is acidic, the body will steal calcium from tissue to bind to these acids to protect the body. And if your parathyroid is weak, it will not produce enough calcium to counteract this. So it can lead to weak bone, weak tissue, and also, like, if you see the bowels right here, which I'll explain later, the bowels are weak. This is due to weak parathyroid. And right beside here is the thyroid, also to the subacute, going to the chronic level. When your thyroid is not working properly, your metabolic rate will be affected. Also, you will tend not to sweat as much as you should, okay? So you have a very slight skin ring around here, that dark ring around the eye. Indicates that you're not sweating effectively or as you should. So what also means that when the kidneys are weak, the skin will take the burden from the kidneys, and because the skin is not as effective as in limiting waste as the kidneys, you have a skin ring. Here is the eye region. The forehead region is above the pineal gland, and right here is the eye region, the nose and the mouth, and the sinuses all congested here with lymph. Okay, you want to detox that. Okay, maybe use a neti pot with eucalyptus oil, or you can chew horseradish. It will help you dissolve the mucus in the sinuses. Okay, it needs to be removed. Right here, the vocal cord region, okay, the esophagus region and the scapular region. You can see all heavy with lymphs, especially the esophagus and the vocal cord region is quite stagnated to the chronic side. You see how dark it is? So this needs to be cleaned up as well. Right here is the upper back region, okay, and right here is the middle back region, and right here is the lower back region, okay. Especially the lower back, you can see is to the chronic side. It's very dark. This indicates you have lymph stagnation there. The spine runs right here, okay, and it's also covered with lymph as well. So this needs to be cleared up as well. Closely right here, here's the bladder region, okay. You can see it's quite heavy with lymph as well. Right here is the prostate and penis region, okay. There's quite a bit of inflammation there, okay. So we need to detox this. Maybe use lower circulation herbs to clean this up. Okay, right here you can see this dark spot here. Those are the kidneys. Okay, when the kidneys are weak, it means that you cannot remove the acids from your 100 trillion cells, and the lymph system gets stagnated. Now, when you look at the eye carefully, you see this is a blue eye, a true blue eye. But look at the white cloud-like structure, it turned into yellow. This is lymph stagnation. The lymph system is what removes metabolic waste from your body through to the kidneys. When the kidneys don't function properly, okay, it can't filter out all these acids, and therefore the acids stick around and begin to burn organ tissue and glands. Okay, so if you look carefully, you can see this white dots here, white dots going all over the eye. The white dots, that's the lymph nodes. It shows swollen or stagnated lymph nodes. Now, how it works is that the kidneys, when the body has waste from its 100 trillion cells, it goes through to the lymph system. It goes down to the lymph nodes. And then lymph nodes have pathogens and macrophages to deal with dead cells, damaged cells, and if it's not working properly, well, those cells have nowhere to go, so stick around, and potential tumors can develop. Okay, but in a good functioning system, cells go from the lymph system to the lymph nodes to the kidneys. But in this case, the kidneys here are weak. Okay, and just below it here are the adrenals. Adrenals are also weak. Adrenals is responsible for fighting inflammation, acidosis. It's used to control autonomic nerve movement, like breathing, like using a washroom, and it's also used to fight, produces corticosteroids, again, to fight inflammation. Also produces cholesterol to fight acidosis or acids. Okay, so it's important that we deal with the adrenals and kidneys. If we can get them working properly, this should clear up nicely. Okay, so all this section here, we see that white line that's going around here. This is the bowels. Okay, the bowels, your bowels are to a chronic side, and they're actually quite constricted and spastic to see, because you can look at right here, the ascending colon right here, all the small intestines. It goes in and out, constricted, but balloons out a bit. This is a constricted bowels or spastic bowels. There's potential fecal matter in there as well. Okay, and the autonomic nerve with the white line around it indicates that you have a weak digestive system. So the way you use the washroom is to the weak side as well, and this is again due to the weak adrenals. Adrenals control the autonomic nerve system, so we need to fix that. Okay, the bowels. If we look closely around the bowels, see that dark line around the atrial pupil? That's a malabsorption ring. It means you're not absorbing nutrients properly through the small intestines. And the reason for that is that it's covered with mucoid plaque. Okay, when you eat starches and proteins, when the body can't digest it, which is often the case, it will stick on the bowel walls and the small intestines. The small intestines is what absorbs all the nutrients. Okay, so when we eat food, When it's processed, the absorption happens in the small intestines. In this case, it's blocked. So we need to clean this up. Use a GI cleaner, use the herbs for the bowels. If you look very closely, you see around the pupil, the lines leaching out of the pupil. We call this radii solaris, and what it shows toxic tunnels of waste from the gut leaching out to other body parts and glands, and it's especially prominent in the head and the brain region right here. This all here is the brain region. Okay, heavy lymph stagnation. You can see it's white, but moving to yellow side, so subacute level of lymph stagnation. Okay, right here is the testes and the pancreas. The pancreas is bottom here, and here's the testes. You can see that thick white. There's this lymph stagnation there. Okay, pancreas is used for digestion. The testes, of course, produces the hormones and is essential for your manhood. Okay, so they need to be addressed. Right here is the liver and gallbladder. Okay, you can see it's the dark side. The gallbladder is used for digestion, for metabolizing carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Okay, and it's to the chronic side, so we need to detox that. Okay, the liver is the chemical factory of the body, essential for transmuting chemicals. So we need to get that fixed as well. Okay, maybe use a liver and gallbladder tincture. Right here is the breast and rib section. Okay, you can see it's quite heavy with lymph. It's getting dark there. So we need to detox. The entire chest region is congested with mucus or lymph. Okay, it needs to be cleaned out. Right here is the lower, middle, and upper lung region. You can see quite heavy lymph stagnation. You see how dark it is here? Okay, the lungs need to be cleaned out. Okay, it's stagnated with lymph. This region right here is the neck, shoulder, and ear region. Okay, you can see it's quite heavy with lymph. Okay, right here is the medulla and mastoid region. This is responsible for dizziness, equilibrium, balancing, and they're all heavy with lymph stagnation. So in this eye here, basically there's quite a few weaknesses. The bowels are the most pressing weaknesses, and the pineal gland here. Remember, this affects sleep. Okay, you see how dark it is. Pituitary gland is also affected as well. The bowels are pressing. The bowels are the most pressing part of the eye. You have quite a bit of heavy lymph stagnation. The other white, thick cloud-like structure is lymph. And again, remember I mentioned that it's stuck because the kidneys and adrenals are not functioning properly. Okay, we need to fix this part. If we fix this part, the cloud-like structure can go away, and you have a much bluer eye. Okay, because it's a true blue eye. The good news about this eye is that it's great genes. Okay, you have very fine lines. Okay, fine fibers, so it's much easier for you to recover if you put in the work. Okay, there's a skin ring around the eye. It means you're not sweating properly. Weak thyroid to the weaker side, and weak kidneys will give you the skin ring. Apart from that, though, really fantastic eye. You know, like I said, mentioned great genes, and if you put in the work, it should clear up nicely.